Well, it's World Food Day, and food security is a pertinent issue globally, but also in Africa. Joining us for more on the various reforms being put in place to support farming in an effort to sustain the country's food security reserves is Dr. Moraka Nakedi Makhura, who's head of economic research at the Land and Agricultural Development Bank of South Africa. Thanks so much, Dr. Makhura, for joining us this afternoon. Let's get straight into some of the initiatives that the Land Bank is tabling here. I mean, you've put aside 1 billion rand for emerging black farmers that will be rolled over out in the next 5 years. What kind of appetite are you actually catering to out there? What kind of industry?
I think this Land Bank intervention is meant to cover all the aspects of agriculture. However, currently, we are focusing on the emerging farmers, the new farmers who have been excluded before, so that they can grow to become commercial, fully-fledged commercial farmers. In that respect, there are instruments that are in place. However, I think it is important to put the perspective in terms of Land Bank intervention. I think it has both historical perspective and strategic perspective. I think historically, Land Bank is now 100 years this year, established in 1912. And the story basically is that Land Bank has been supportive of the agricultural sector, has been there with the contributing to the development of various instruments and encouraging agricultural sector. So to that effect, in fact, we are even recording that history, which probably will share with the, anyone later in a few months. The strategic perspective to this is that there is a need for increased production, and that production always has to either be increasing production of food, on the other side, also increasing food cheaply, making sure that the food is presented cheap. In that respect, then, when we talk of the increase in food production, it's about supporting farmers to make sure that they produce with ease. I think that's the point. And on the part of the cheaper production of food, where we are referring to where we introduce some instruments with the support of government to make sure that farmers are producing food cheaply in that respect. That can be passed on to consumers.
Dr. Makhura, it's Lindsay in Cape Town. I'm just reading something from the Observer newspaper, the Sunday newspaper in the United Kingdom. It says the following: world grain reserves are so dangerously low that severe weather in the United States or other food exporting countries could trigger a major hunger crisis next year. Falling harvests in the US, the Ukraine and other countries means that reserves are down at their lowest level since 1974. In that context, and in the context of your initiatives, just give us an idea of how much potential there is in South Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, for food production and becoming a major player in the world food market in decades to come.
I think this can also be put in the context of this geopolitical system that South Africa is in. It's part of the emerging markets, the BRICS. So together with those emerging markets, I think South Africa's role is becoming eminent. In as far as food production is concerned, I think we have to appreciate the fact that South Africa's weather conditions are different from the other main producers as well. So when the other producers experience difficult production conditions, it doesn't follow that we experience the same. So with the current drought now, where other producers are unable or were unable to deliver enough, some are even looking at South Africa as a potential supplier of product.
This is a very cyclical sector, though, and of course, you know, things happen in bouts and turns. And for that, you've got the skill. You've got to have the skill set. You've got to have the know-how, the right technology to actually, you know, fight off or ward against those risks that do come through when they present themselves. How are you rating the kind of skills base and how technologically advanced the sector has become?
I think the South African agricultural sector is very robust and is comparable with the world. That's why you see some farmers are invited to countries such as Georgia to assist in the production. But
not only to assist, though, some have exited completely.
To produce there.
To produce there,
Yes.
and that's because reasons being cited is that South Africa's regulatory framework or the government has not been supportive enough of this industry. And some would say that working in a very big way to hinder the kind of progress you're looking to make.
I look at it differently. That is about South Africa's image, the fact that South Africa managed to have that skill set and even technology. That's why it is of interest for other countries to invite. I think there is evidence where they get invited, farmers get invited, and even within the continent, farmers move to there. You see, that needs to be looked in both ways. They get invited because they, at an individual level, a farmer must see an opportunity for them to move. But at a macro level, it is about the different systems, seeing which system is working better. But South African system has developed tremendously. That's why we are saying, maybe when we talk about the 100 years of agriculture in South Africa, which we try to zoom into the support Land Bank gave in that process, you will see how the agricultural system in South Africa grew and developed over the 100 years and up to where we are. I think the leap we just need to take now is about supporting the emerging farmers and making sure that they also develop to the same level as the current crop of farmers we have. And we also are not saying that farmers who are good at this stage have to leave and go.
Exactly
And that's not what we're saying. We are supposed to support those who are still producing because we need to sustain that crop as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, Dr. Makhura, let's leave it there. Thanks so much for having joined us this afternoon.